What's going on YouTube? Today we are talking about Manchester United's game at the weekend, Ipswich versus Manchester United, where they tied 1-1. Um, it was Amorim's first game as the manager at Manchester United. I thought it went okay, kind of as expected, to be honest. Uh, it's hard for a manager to kind of come in and just make instant performance or instant changes that result well, right? Obviously, with the last manager, the interim manager that we had, Ben Nistelrooy, right? It was a lot easier for him because he was already at the club. He already kind of knew the players, and he's been there. He grew up in that club. He performed at the highest level at that club when they were at their peak, and so he knows what it takes to kind of perform, and he has the right mentality for those certain players to perform. So that's why I think that's why we got instant results with him. But with Amorim, it's a little different situation, right? Him being as a player, he was always at like smaller clubs, and then him going to Sporting was like a huge deal, right? And then it took him a while to get success at Sporting, right? And now this season, obviously, they have been undefeated, and so yeah, I think him at Manchester United was I think the move is great because obviously we saw the style of play that has done at Sporting, right? The way that Manchester United play was what they did at Sporting, and someone on Reddit, I might try to find it later, but someone on Reddit talked about how he was a Sporting fan, and he watched Manchester United play just to see if he would try to play the same way that he's been playing at Sporting, and he was like, yeah, like obviously I don't know if it's true or not, right? It could just be some guy that's just bullshitting, but yeah, it was interesting to see that insight, right? That someone claimed that he watched Sporting a lot, and so he wanted to see how that style of play would work at Manchester United if he would imitate it or implement it right away. And he the guy said that he did, right? And I kind of saw it too. They did play different. But it was still like there was still some, like, obviously looking at the ratings, right? The players just weren't they're not adapted to that style of play. They weren't there yet. Obviously, it's not our best 11 that we can start, right? We had a lot of injuries. Players are coming back. Like Casemiro has been on and off. I think Kobe Manu would be a lot better. Same with Ugarte, right? He's a new signing. I think he was played at the system when he was at Sporting, right? So he's familiar with the system. I think he should have been starting too. I think those two are our main, going to be our main midfielders. They're Kobe Manu and Ugarte. And then obviously the back line, I'm guessing it's going to be Yoro, Delict, and Martinez, because like Johnny Evans probably won't be starting, but he's good. He's a good figure to have at Manchester United because he was at the club when they were at their peak. And then Rashford, I don't think is gonna. I mean, even though Rashford scored, like you can't say that he played well. He was being really lazy, walking around everywhere. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is with him. Because like I feel, yeah, I mean, obviously he grew up with the club, right? He came through the academy. He was a big he performed well at the club for many years, right? When he was a youngster. Honestly, kind of having a similar, like, I wouldn't say downfall because Mbappe is at Manchester United or at Real Madrid, like playing really well, but kind of like the same situation, right? Because Mbappe is not really scoring that much at Real Madrid. Hasn't been. I mean, it's his first season, right? So he's kind of adjusting to their style of play as well, right? Especially at Real Madrid having a lot of stars, but Rashford, like when he was coming up the ranks, right? When he was a youngster just getting into the squad, he was having the craziest seasons, right? Like 2, 3 seasons in a row, he was scoring goals left and right, right? Constantly running, kind of similar to like what Garnacho's doing now, right? Scoring goals. I wouldn't say Garnacho's scoring goals left and right, but he's scoring a lot and he's performing well. This game, I don't know how he got a 6.1. I thought him and Ahmad were doing the most out of anyone on the team. Obviously, Bruno and Fernandez too. We're doing a lot on the team, and so I'm not sure how Garnacho got a 6.1 rating. But it is. I mean, that is what it is. That's crazy that he got the worst rating on that team. I thought he was doing well, not well, because he was kind of losing the ball a lot and like not giving up, but kind of. of I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of new to him, right? The new system didn't fit well with him, but I don't think he got a 6.1 rating. I don't think he did the worst in the team. That's kind of crazy to say. But also, right, he was going against Tunzanabi, who we have to remember a couple years ago he shut down and peak Mbappe, right, in the Champions League in the Champions League, PSG versus Manchester United, right. Tunzanabi is a solid defender when he when he's performing, right. He's a solid defender. So Garnacho having to go against him is kind of crazy. I wouldn't say he got a 6.1 though. And Tunzanabi was playing well, to be honest. I don't know how he got a 6.8. At least a 7 rating for me. But yeah, I think the system that Amorim's going to bring, I think it's going to take a lot of work for Manchester United to succeed. I think we have to get rid of a lot of players. Obviously, like I said, the midfield probably isn't our starting midfield. Um, we need a better defender than Johnny Evans to start, right? Obviously, we have Martinez, Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw would be really good in that position. We saw him play left center back the last couple of years randomly, right? But he played it well, and so I think it would be good for him to be playing in that left center back position. Obviously, I think he would be a sub to Martinez. We'll see what happens, how healthy Luke Shaw can stay, but I think it would be a good position for him. And then there's been rumors that we're looking to get someone to play in that left wing back's role. I think Nuno Mendes was thrown out there. Davison or Davis. Oh, what's his last name? Anthony Antonio Davis? No, Anthony Davis. I forget his name from Bayern, the Canadian. Alfonso Davis. I don't know why that slipped my head. Alfonso Davis. Yeah, he's been thrown out there, and then there was someone from Sporting as well thrown out there. Yeah, I think that'd be good for us, right? So that Dalot can play the right wing back position again, or maybe right center back and have Maserati play that right wing back position. I think Ahmed played phenomenal there. Obviously, him being an 8.0, him tying O'Shea for the player of the match. I think it would be interesting. I think Manchester United have a lot to do. And specifically, right, getting rid of players, right? We have like I said, Ericsson, Casemiro. I think honestly, personally, I think Rashford needs to leave. He's kind of I'm not sure what it is with him. I have a feeling that he kind of just is so comfortable with where his life is. He knows that he's going to be in and out of the starting position for at Manchester United. He knows that he's not really like a star player anymore, but he's still kind of looked at like a star player, if that makes sense. So he's kind of comfortable with that role. And so he knows that he can kind of play however he wants, and like it won't really matter about his position, right? Because he doesn't have anyone to kind of contend for his seniority, really is what it is, right? He's been there the longest, he's been through the ranks. And so I feel like he kind of is getting to that point where I mean we just have to. It sucks because, like I said, he's like our star boy, right? He's been at the club for so long, and was doing so well at the club, and so like it's hard to see him go, but I think it's time for him to go. And so it's kind of I mean I wish him the best, right? Obviously seeing a lot of the players that we got rid of that we shouldn't have get rid of performing at the top level, like McTominay, De Gea. There's someone else that's on my mind that left and has been performing well. Uh, Donny Van de Beek has been all right? He hasn't been performing super well, but he's been like scoring some goals. And that's someone that was at Manchester United and kind of had a rough time. But yeah, I think if once Manchester United once Manchester United kind of get rid of those players, right, rebuild the club. Obviously it's going to take time, and like we don't really want to spend a lot of money anymore, which kind of sucks because we had a lot of managers throughout the time kind of want to get new players and have gotten new players, and they paid a lot of the money for these new players, and they haven't really performed like how they thought they would. So it's hard for Manchester United because all of those players, like, we're not going to get the money back from those players. I don't think we'll even get a dent of that amount that we spent. But once Manchester United get those changes made and figure out the system of style, the style of play that they want, I think it's going to be like it's going to be a night and day difference, right? Like one night they're playing bad, the next night they're going to be playing good, and then from then on, right, it's just going to be good, 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 right? Back to the top, back to fighting for the league. But like I said, it's going to take a while, and it's going to take a lot of changes that we have to make at the club. A lot of players need to leave, and we have to get new players in that fit the style of play and that want to, like, have that hunger to bring Manchester United back. And based off of the interviews, it sounds like Amorim kind of has that hunger, that he wants to make Manchester United that 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 top of the level, top of the league team again. And it sounds like he's there for he understands the challenge and is ready to take it on, and he feels like he's at the right point of his career where he can do that. And I kind of agree. I feel like he, based off of the way that he's talking, obviously we'll have to see the results first, but the way that he's talking, the way that he's kind of interviewing, right? I think he's the right now, off the top of my head, I think he's the right person for the job. I think there's other people that can do the same job, right? But if they might not really want the challenge. They're a little older, right? Like, the names off my head are like Ancelotti, Zidane, like those players, those coaches that have performed at the highest level. And honestly, I wish we would have just stuck with Rude. But like I said, Amorim's is a solid. The way that he kind of talks, and his obviously his style of play has worked, right? We saw Sporting beat City recently with his style of play, and so, like, and then we just saw Tottenham beat City too. But yeah, I think it's going to take a lot of time. But I have no doubt in my mind that Manchester United will be one of the top teams in the world again. And I think it's going to be a completely new Manchester United. I don't think we're gonna see a lot of the players that we once saw. The only player that I can think of that will be there is going to be Bruno Fernandes, and that's if he wants to stay there, right? If he wants to be the new face of Manchester United, because I think he will be, right? Obviously, he's our captain now, and once Rashford leaves, he'll be one of the people that, like, is kind of looked at as the face of Manchester United, even though he is now a little bit. But yeah, I think him, Delict. I think we're bringing in the right players, right? It just kind of, obviously we brought them in this year, like Delict, Mazarawi. Um, I think Kobe Mainu is going to be a big figure for us, and this is like his second season, I believe. Last season being his breakout season. This season is going to be his first, like, actual season at the club, and so. Um, I think he's going to be a big figure if we can keep him fit. Obviously that's the big if we can keep him fit. We've had a lot of trouble with injuries, but let me know in the comments what you guys thought about the Manchester United game versus Ipswich Town if you watched it. If you're just, like, seeing the reaction to it, right? Because it was kind of a big deal to see how Amorim performs in his first game. Obviously, versus Ipswich Town, who's not a terrible team. Obviously, they're in the Premier League, but they're in relegation zone. They've gotten points off of, I think they got points off of City, if I'm not mistaken. Beat Tottenham. Let's see. I'm not sure if that might be just talking out of my butt. Got points off of Villa, who's another top team. Got points off of Brighton, so they're not bad. But then they're losing to the bottom tier teams. They've been in a decent run of form. Haven't been winning, but haven't been, like, losing the last three. Beat Tottenham. That's a big at home. That's a big one. So yeah, they didn't take points off of City. That was kind of out of my ass. Yeah, they didn't take points off of City. Um, yeah, but they're tying teams in the Premier League, which shows that they're at that level. Maybe not just obviously winning games is much better for the teams, but I think it was a good start to Amorim's career. I would have wished I would have liked a win. Obviously, they scored that first goal and then kind of didn't perform after that. But like he said, like I said, I think it's going to take time for Manchester United to get back to that top level, and so with time, obviously there's going to be hardship, and so I think a lot of players need to leave before we see any better results. But we'll see what happens. The the overlap, I think, is the podcast with a lot of the old Manchester United players, like Scholesy was on there. Gary Neville, Ian Wright isn't a Manchester United player, but he's on there, and then Roy Keane's on there. They talked about this game or about Rashford and Casemiro being going to the U.S. While they had the long break, but before Amorim came in during the international break. But that was good insight onto what goes through players' minds. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this game, or any of the games this weekend. I'd love to hear about them. I'd love to talk about them. So let me know what you guys would prefer, in the comments below. Leave a like if you like the video, and subscribe to the channel, because it helps me out a lot. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Peace.